Hi, and welcome to another Type with me. In this week's episode, I want to talk about the Memento pattern in TypeScript. Again, the Memento pattern is a software design pattern, and it exposes the private internal state of an object. One example of how this can be used is to restore an object to its previous state, undo via rollback. Another is versioning, another is custom serialization. The Memento pattern will log and provide some kind of way to indeed go back and get some kind of, like it already said a little bit, the memento going, or momento, right? So let's see how this works out within TypeScript. So let's go and make it into a practical example. Alright, so first of all, I want to start with an interface. Right, and this interface is the Memento interface: get state, get name, and get date. So this is just something to very easily access the state and some other information, right? So let's start with that. So next part of the Memento design pattern is the originator. Well, the originator has a state, and in this case we are just gonna use a string, right? Because that's just easy to explain, but your state can be any object, right? So you can use any object you like. And then of course we can set this state in the constructor. Then you have set your initial state. Then we can do an action, we can change the state to get a random string and put that into the state. Then we can save everything, and then of course we can also restore it. So we can say, hey, I want to have another memento, right? And then your state has changed to a new state that you got from the memento state. So that's the originator class that we are going to use. You see here already that we want to save a memento, so we also need to create a memento, right? So then we have our memento class here, right? And we implement memento, of course, and then of course we can just have the get state, which returns the state that it has. We can have the get name, and in this regard it could be something like this dot date. And we do this dot state dot substring, and we print out the first 9 of the state, and we get a date, right? Now here we can return, of course, when we save our memento to some memento, right? So the last part that I want to explain is the caretaker. The caretaker has a list of memento objects. It has the originator, right, with the state in it, and then from there we can create backups. So what we do is we create a backup, we save first our memento, and then we push it into an array, right? And then we can very easily do or use an undo, and we can show a history. You also see that we are using the interface, so it doesn't matter if you are using some memento or another kind of implementation of memento, right? Also for the originator, it doesn't matter which originator. Well, in this case it's a class, but you can also imagine that we can abstract that into something else, where we very easily say, okay, we have a save and a restore, and every originator as an interface can have that, right? Alright, so let's use this all within our example. So first of all, I need to create an object originator. With this originator, we provide a first state in design patterns with type with me. And we have a caretaker, right? And then, of course, we can say originator dot backup, because we want to backup. Oh, sorry, it's on the caretaker. Caretaker, we want to have a backup. And then, of course, with the originator, we want to do an action. And then, of course, we can repeat this kind of pattern. So if I run this, for example, you see here already that we have our caretaker. It executes an action and then the state changed to something else. And again, we saved it and it's changed to something else, right? We can now repeat this still. I really like to play with these kind of design patterns because it really let you think on, okay, how can I use this within an application? So for this, it would be nice if you want to have some kind of history state in your application and you need to save that history state into a database locally within your browser or maybe on the backend. Well, this helps with that, of course. Again, if you do this kind of repeating thing and then you say, okay, I want to show history, you can do so. Of course, here we are. Here is the list of mementos, right? And then, of course, we can do some extras. We can undo one, right? And then we can undo another one. And then, of course, I want to see what the history is there. So we're going to show a history. I also want to have a space there, so I'm going to put a space there. And then, of course, I think I'm going to try to get originator dot or yeah, well, let us execute this one, right? And then you see here that our state is being rolled back towards design patterns with type with me. So in this regard, it's very easy to build up a state history, to have some kind of versioning, and to have a very easy undo or redo sequence there, right? So I think I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something from it. Again, if you want to learn a little bit more or have some deep dive into what mementos are, look it up into Google and you will find more examples like this. I really enjoyed it to explain it to you what mementos are. I also learned a little bit from that regard, and I hope you do as well. Thank you very much. See you next time.